It has been a minute since I made a video. Hi, guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a few thoughts that I want to share. I have a few thoughts that I really want to, you know, share and have your opinion on. I was thinking earlier today, and the phrase is one more mention of AI around me, and nothing is going to happen. Nothing is absolutely going to happen. Um, I don't know if I'm the only one that's feeling a little bit just fatigued and tired, and I don't want to use the word burnt out because sounds a little bit extreme, but just exhausted about AI. Everywhere you turn, AI this, AI that, AI is taking over our jobs, AI. And I think that AI has really affected the world in which we live. And personally, just reflecting on this, it has affected the world for me externally as well as the world for me internally. So I see this two phase impact of AI in my life. Okay. I'm on the job market, so I'm always looking out for new jobs and making applications. And AI has seriously affected the process. And the problem is that it hasn't affected it in a one shot. It's continuously affecting how job applications are made, how even requirements for positions, are crafted. Just it's a rolling ball. The other day I was on LinkedIn, and I saw this girl who is she's a LinkedIn influencer, and she was making a post, or she made a post about how she was using AI to make job applications. And her process was something like this. She has an Airbyte table. There's this table called Airbyte. And what she does is that she simply needs to take the link to that job from LinkedIn and paste it into the table. And then her AI workflow crawls the description of the job, tailors her resume to this job, and even creates a custom website just for that job application. And I'm like, is this what I'm supposed to compete against? I know that there are people that have sophisticated AI pipelines and AI workflows for automatically applying for jobs. And then there's there are those of us who haven't really, I mean, I use AI to do a couple of things, but I don't have anything so sophisticated that can compete with these. And thinking about it today, there are things that are within my control, but there are things that are also not within my control. How companies are using AI and pushing for AI, and how things are changing in the industry is not something that I can control. But I feel like there are parts of this whole narrative that I have power over. So I want to share three ideas that I was thinking about earlier today. And I would like to know your thoughts on these, as well as any thoughts you have around AI in general and how AI is impacting our world. The first idea for me is that it's unwise to swim against the tide. I see AI as some kind of tide. It's like you're in the ocean and there's a current, there's a tide that's pushing things in one direction. And I honestly feel like it's unwise to swim against the tide. I'm not going to come here and say, don't use AI, or be anti or anti AI, or let's have a revolution against AI. Seriously, I feel like it's a tide that I don't have the strength and I don't have the capacity to swim against. And what that looks like for me is asking the question of, how is AI being used in my craft, in my industry, and how can I make sure that I'm not being left behind? Interestingly, I was thinking about the last two interviews I had, and a similar question was asked in both cases. And the question is, how are you using AI? The interviewer was asking me how I'm using AI to do data engineering, how I'm using AI to do development. And I think that this is just going to be a requirement in most jobs and in most industries. So I do not think that we can swim against the tide. Let me know in the comment section if you think otherwise. I think that we should, you know, sort of go with the flow. Go with the flow in the sense of asking yourself, how can AI aid my craft? How can AI aid my job, my profession, my creativity, etc., etc.? So I wouldn't swim against the tide. Would you? Let me know in the comments. The second thing is that even though we're not swimming against the tide, we still need to be unique. Okay? When there is a tide in the ocean, the crabs don't suddenly become the tilapia. The salmon doesn't suddenly become whatever else lives in the ocean. We still need to have our uniqueness. And I feel like it's a very difficult kind of ball to juggle. You don't want to swim against the tide, but then you also want to be unique. You don't want to become like every other person. So this one is a bit difficult, but I've been thinking to myself, what makes me me? What makes me unique? What makes me stand out? And I think that's the question that we, each of us, needs to ask ourselves. And we need to find out, something unique about yourself that you bring into the equation besides what AI is doing for you. Your own voice, your own personality, your own touch, your sense of humor, your seriousness, your whatever it is, your uniqueness is important in this time more than ever before. So I think we don't need to swim against that, but we have to be unique. And finally, I think that we also need to lend our voices to the discussion. I've been thinking about my consumption to production ratio recently, and it's been bothering me a bit. I consume a lot of content. I mean, I consume a lot of videos, podcasts, texts on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, you name it. I am constantly consuming, and I feel like I am not producing enough. And it bothers me a bit that I'm on this constant ride of consumption, and maybe AI also makes it feel like, do I really have anything to offer, or do I really have anything to bring to the discourse? And I think that we each have something to bring. Remember, the second point is that we are unique and we should be unique, and that uniqueness would play when we lend our voices to discussions. So what are you bringing to the table? Okay. AI would not replace you if you fight for your uniqueness and if you lend your voice in any way that you can. Be creative, write things, produce things. Don't just be a consumer. Try to also produce things without AI. This might sound a bit counterintuitive, but I feel like there is also something about us as individuals that we need to fight to protect. As we swim with the tide, we need to fight to protect our uniqueness. And we do this by applying ourselves, by lending our voice, by creating things that when you look at it, you know, you say to yourself or you feel to yourself, yes, this is me and this is mine. So let me know, how is AI affecting you? How is AI affecting your industry, your craft? Are you worried? Are you unbothered? And do any of these 3 points resonate with you? Is there something else you think would need to add to the list? Let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.